Hi guys. We're going to tie the Marsh Candy. This is a good prospecting pattern I've been using for years, and it's kind of changed and morphed depending on what size hook you use. It can look like the same fly or almost a completely different fly. The size we're going to do today is one I'm fishing a lot right now. It's a size 10. I'm using these cheap hooks I got off the internet. I think I got them off of Amazon. Uh, but they seem to do just fine. It's a good steel. Um, the first thing we're going to do once we tie on, you can see I've left the thread toward the back because right here in the center I'm going to put about 4 wraps of lead wire. You can substitute tin or tungsten or whatever your preference. The thing is, we just want to get this fly a little bit of weight. Let's see, it's going to end up being about 6 wraps. And it gives the middle of the fly a little bit more weight, a little bit more width. So we're going to wrap over it. We'll wrap a little roll of thread in front and then move to the back and wrap a little bit of thread to keep it from being able to slide back. So next comes the tail material. We're going to use the end of a marabou feather, and we want to measure out about the length of the hook. We're going to catch with our opposite finger, and we don't want it to come past up here. So I'm going to go ahead and tie this down all the way back just before the bend of the hook. Next, we're going to build up the body, and we're going to build it up with 40-pound monofilament. We're going to take about a 5 or 6 inch piece, match up the ends, and then cut it so we have 2 equal pieces. And we're going to lay those on top, and we want to leave a small 1/8 inch section, maybe that's 16, for the lips that we're going to make out of monofilament also. So we're going to tie these 2 on the top, and we're going to come down toward the bend, and we're going to do 2 sets of these. We want this first set to end a little short of the bend, and then our next set go right on top, and then we're going to allow these to go a little bit further so it has a little bit of a taper going down the back. So let's go ahead and wrap over this really good. Okay, now the remaining pieces we're going to bend in half, and if you pinch the end of the monofilament, you can cause it to get a kink, and that kink will stay. And you can see I left my thread here in the middle, and that's because when we lay these on here and go to wrap, we need to catch that right where the gills would be. It takes a little bit of finagling to get these pieces to lay just so. So we want one on the bottom and one on top of it, and we want them both to come under the fly. Then we're going to wrap a few turns to keep it in place. And then we want to take our scissors and we want to cut this mono with the nearest okay, so we have two on this side, and the one closest to the belly, the upper one, we're going to cut short, and the one on the bottom we're going to cut a little longer. And we're going to do this on the opposite side as well. And now we just want to secure that monofilament stays in place on both sides. And we're going to wrap to about 1/4 of an inch from the hook eye. We're going to leave this section a little bare. Now this thread's going to hold the UV resin that we use, so we want to make sure it makes a good framework to hold it. It's going to make this a really tough fly. We can go ahead and whip finish. And move our thread. As far as the scissors, I keep an old pair of scissors just to cut monofilament with, because it'll dull a good pair of scissors quick. So if you do have to use your good scissors when cutting monofilament, try to cut down here. It's a lot more gentle than cutting at your tips. You'll dull your tips really quick. Okay, now for the eyes, we'll be using these Hairline 3/32 Super Pearl Black. You can use any color. This is a good size for this size hook, for this size fly. Okay, these eyes have a little bit of adhesion on them, so you can get them to stay where you want them for a short time. There we go. Now this time we're going to put a coating of UV resin. And if you take your time and instead of just kind of coating it, if you press it into this thread, it becomes a lot stronger. Instead of sitting on top of the thread, if you have it in the threads, it makes for a lot stronger fly. It's kind of like putting straw into clay. You can make bricks without straw, but the straw makes a lot stronger brick. Okay, I put very light coat on here because I'm going to add a second coat. And the reason I'm adding a second coat is just so I can add some flash to this fly. Okay, so we've hit it with our UV torch, and you could fish this fly just like it is, but we're going to add some metal leaf. This is speedball metal leaf. I got this at one of the craft stores. And you simply get a little section of it and just kind of press it on. You want to make sure you don't cover your eye. There. And I don't try to make this too perfect. I like to leave a few little gaps. And then we're going to coat it again with our UV resin. And this is to seal this foil onto the body. And once again, we'll hit it with our UV light. And there you go. So you can use whatever color marabou. You could come back, you could use marker on top of this, make some stripes or darken the back. There's a lot of options. You can make a whole bunch of these little guys in different sizes, different colors. It's a good prospecting pattern. This size, in a size 10, is really good for casting a pond when you don't know what's in there. It'll take bluegill, it'll take crappie, it'll take bass. Most fish will forage on little minnows just about any time of the year. There's a time in the spring when there's a lot of bluegill fry in the water. Everything eats them. It's just a good all-around fly. In any case, hit the like button, subscribe. Let me know in the comments if there's any other patterns you'd like to see. I'll start to produce more patterns or more video for patterns as time allows. So just Subscribe, hit that notification bell so you're notified whenever a new video pops up. Thanks for watching.